Hello everyone, my name's Sarah and I work on the Trio Cymru project. Today we'll be talking about science careers and the different routes available to you. We hope you find this very informative and we hope you enjoy.
Science is cool, but can it get me a job? So what does science teach us? These are some examples of the skills that science teaches us, ranging from problem solving to critical thinking. Science teaches us more than how the world works, and it gives us the skills that allows us to succeed in life. So what do you think a scientist does? What do you think they look like? How do you think they dress? And where do you think scientists work? This is the stereotype that we have for a scientist, but you don't need to look like this to become one. Some jobs require a scientific mind and are hugely varied. And these don't necessarily require you to wear a lab coat or work in a lab. If you are mathematically minded, you might be interested in a career in computer game design, when understanding of maths is important when writing computer code. You might also be interested to know that maths is vitally important in becoming a pilot. Marine biologists and conservationists require more than just a love of animals and nature. They get to travel the world and are rarely seen in a lab coat. If you enjoy baking, you'll understand the precision required in quantities, timings and temperatures in exactly the same way they are in a chemistry lab, but of course a lot safer. Would you like to be the person who creates visual and special effects for films? Well, depending on whether you want to create practical computer-generated effects, you will need to be a chemist, engineer or computer programmer. Astronauts also need a specialisation in science because they need it in order to perform research and experiments. These are a small number of examples of what jobs require scientific understanding. They offer fantastic opportunities. What you see here is a tiny example of what is available. We have a few examples of people with careers that one way or another have benefited from having a scientific mind next. This is Kaylee, and as you can see, she likes fast cars, so much so that she decided to make it her career, and she now works as an aerodynamics engineer at Renault F1. She grew up loving fast cars and wanted to make it her hobby, so she chose A-levels that would set her up for that. By working hard in her A-levels, she got the grades needed to study a master's degree in motorsports engineering at Oxford Brookes University. This is Taliesin. He did his masters in Cardiff University. He'd always wanted a job where he could spend the time in the great outdoors. At A-level, he studied geology because he thought the field trips looked fun, chemistry and physics. He now travels the world for his job, using analytical skills that he has learned as a scientist to predict and verify the presence of precious minerals in the Earth's crust. Emma went to university to study chemistry, but despite loving chemistry studies, she had no intention of going into the world of research or academia. At A-level, she studied maths, physics and chemistry. Her job uses all of the skills you gain as a scientist to analyse a company and work out how you get it to work more efficiently so that the staff are happier and the company makes more money. She is also a former national road and track cycling champion and a triathlete in her own time. You may remember Corey from the Trio Cymru project. She grew up in Blackwood and didn't want to move away from her family, so she decided to do a PhD in the world's leading university. Even though she was better at maths, she enjoyed chemistry the most, so chose to pursue her interest in it at university. Most people think you have to go to university to become a scientist, but university isn't the only route. Apprenticeships have also been an excellent way to gain hands-on experience of a job. Let's look at the university route first. University is a common route for people to get a career in sciences. University is a common route for people to get a career in science. Generally, you'll need good GCSEs in maths and English, at least A to C grade, especially if you want to study science. Depending on your degree, you'll typically need to have studied relevant topics at A-level and have C's or above. Student loans and maintenance grants make university a lot more affordable. You don't have to start paying this back until you earn enough to look after yourself. The amount is paid back in small amounts, and if you can't finish repaying the loan within 30 years, you'll stop paying it back at this point. Now let's talk about the apprenticeship route. First of all, apprenticeships are not an easy option. They require similar GCSEs and A-level grades as university. However, if you feel like you want to start working immediately and learn on the job, they might be ideal for you. You will be working full-time while you receive specialist training in your chosen field. There are many employers in the South Wales and South West area that provide these apprenticeships. As you are working while you learn, you'll be getting paid during the apprenticeship. The pay isn't incredible, but it includes the cost of the specialised training that you receive. Depending on the apprenticeship you are registered on, you can even earn undergraduate degrees, for example a Bachelor of Science. I don't want to work in science or go to university, so none of this applies to me. Of course, not everyone is wanting to go into science, technology, engineering and maths, and you're probably thinking that science will never apply to your career. Science, technology, engineering and maths are present in many unexpected areas. Plumbers, mechanics, carpenters and electricians rely heavily on science to be able to do their jobs. Hairstylists also need an understanding of chemistry to be able to safely dye their clients' hair. Climate change is also important to have an understanding of these challenges so that we can make informed decisions. So what career is right for you? No one can tell you what job you should do or where you should work. It's up to you to decide. If you're not sure about what you'd like to do, think about the things that you enjoy doing or that you are good at and find ways of making them your career. If you don't know what you need to do to get the job you want, ask for advice. You have teachers, career advisors and the internet to turn to. Research the options that you have and work out what is best for you. Also, do you need special training? For example, if you're going to study medicine, you will need to have voluntary experience in places like GP surgeries or care homes before you apply. And once that all is done, don't forget it's your choice, so choose what's best for you. And if you still don't know what you want to do, don't worry. The things you enjoy, the jobs that you'll want will probably change a lot as you get older. So if you don't know what you want to do now, I can assure you that there are people in their 40s with no idea of what they want to do either. And a final note to leave you on. Find a job you love and you'll never work a day in your life. Thank you very much for watching. If you have any questions, please email us at triosycumri@cardiff.ac.uk.